Are you ready to learn what red flags keep an eye out for when looking for love?
Then we got you covered. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Alex.
And this is the podcast where we unpack reality TV and call out the bullshit.
So that you show up confidently while dating and in relationships. Welcome to Ditch the Script.
I love it. I hope that timed up right. I really do.
Oh my
Alex,
God.
if you guys don't watch our YouTube episodes, you really should. But Alex and I,
at least the first 30 seconds.
We spend the first 30 seconds silent so our audios sync up. We've learned trial by fire that if we don't do that, then we have big issues. And so we've just committed to dancing in silence on, if the mood is right.
If the mood is right, yes. And it's our own little silent disco that we have, and it's a good time. It's a good time.
Silent disco in a really silent way.
Yeah,
There's no
and
music.
Sometimes the intro syncs up real good with it, and sometimes it doesn't. So
It really
we're just,
doesn't.
we will know once we edit it. Hey.
Yeah, it's silly in both ways. What have you been up to this week?
Working a lot, and I took a pole fitness class, baby.
Ooh.
That
I'd
I'm
love to
still
hear
paying
about
for 2 days later.
You don't mean financially, you mean physically.
No, I don't mean financially. I mean physically. Like, everything hurts. And I was telling Brie before we started, I have bruises in places you don't want bruises. But it's a good time. I had taken one class before, so I knew a little bit what I was getting myself into. You definitely want, as much skin contact with the pole, so everyone goes in, booty shorts and a sports bra.
And that's so that your
you
skin
stick.
sort of, you grip to it. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And it hurts. It's basically like Indian burn from a metal pole all over
Oh, that does sound
inner
really
thighs.
fucking brutal.
Yeah, it is. It's it hurts to cross my legs.
So
But it's all good.
I never understood this about pole dancing, and maybe this is just me being an idiot, but the pole moves, right?
It can, yeah.
Or do you move around it?
Both.
Both.
So there is a spinning pole and there's a stationary pole. And actually this time was the first time I played with a spinning pole. And it's it's fun, dude. You get on there and you're just woo! You whip it around. And it feels like you're spinning. I did a spin on a spinning pole. So the pole was spinning, but I was also spinning around the pole. Yeah. And
physically,
when you're
I don't
a kid,
understand it.
it's okay. Just come with me sometime. We'll try it.
Okay. I would love
when
to.
you're a kid on the swings and you spin the swing around and wrap it up and then put your legs out and pull them in and go really tight. It's like that sensation.
Okay.
It's really fun.
I'm a little dizzy just even hearing
Oh my
about
God.
it.
Yeah. But you feel
word.
sexy and it feels so freeing and plus you get to touch yourself. So it's fun. You know what I mean?
I do be loving that. I love that.
Me too. Yeah.
What would you say are the most useful muscles to engage in to support the physical activity of pole dancing?
Everything, but I'll tell you the ones that hurt the most today.
Yeah.
Bis and tris, so biceps, triceps. Definitely your ass, so your gluteus maximus and minimus. 100%. Yeah. Inner thighs, for show, and a lot of abs.
Okay. I imagine a lot of obliques, the side
So
abs.
much. Yeah. So we even did one, it's going to be hard to describe, but we did we laced our legs around the pole like this.
Yeah.
Squeeze, and then a one hand and leaned out, and that was all obliques. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. It hurts just thinking
I
about
imagine
it.
it'd be hard to stay up.
I slide down. Yeah. Once you start sweating and you use chalk or alcohol too, throughout class to get rid of that, gymnasts do. But, it's a fun time though.
What a vibe.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a safe space. Everyone's there. It was really fun because there was a girl who had never been before. And so I was we shared a pole and I was cheering her on and she did so good. So it was fun to be able to be there for someone and feel see her confidence progress throughout the class, because at first
her pole dancing confidence
Oh my God, yeah. And at first she was like, she wanted to always give me the pole. She was like, you go, you go, you go. And I was like, Vanessa, get your butt on the pole. You got this.
Time to face your fears, Vanessa.
Yeah. And I was like, I won't let you fall. I will spot you, you know? And then she like started just going for it. And I was so proud. She did so good. It was a good vibe. Yeah.
I love that. Were people wearing heels or is this barefoot?
Not this week. Yeah. We just were barefoot.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
I want to do that so badly.
Do it. It's so fun.
Whenever I come visit, I'd love to do that together. That
or same really when I come to you. We're doing
we'll go find a South Florida pole dancing class.
Oh, I'm sure they exist.
Oh, I'm certain. Yeah. I'll do a little research. I won't just like close my eyes and pick a place.
Okay.
Do a little research.
Even if we have to go to Miami, that would be a fun little day trip, though.
That would be fun.
Acai bowls, pole fitness class, beach, Tijuana.
Get out of there. Get out of there. Absolutely. Oh, wow. That's a really good plan. That's a really good plan.
Okay, but what have you been up to? What's going on in your life? How's Tucker?
Things. Tucker, actually, I'm glad that you brought Tucker up because I had a quick little story I wanted to share. Yeah, did you call him baby dog?
Yeah, I was like, you little baby dog.
Oh, I just said little baby dog. I love that. I had a date last night and I had a boy at my house, which means
oh my God.
Tucker had a boy over. Yeah. And so, yeah, chill out.
So much excited energy about this. God, my face hurts. So anyway, I'm smiling.
So, Tucker hasn't seen me bring a lot of people over. So he's not used to like what's going on with other people other than just me. So me and my date had like a very cheeky little makeout, little snog, quick little snog. And
love it.
Tucker's been asleep this whole time. As soon as we got there, I let him out of his crate. He went to the bathroom. He came in, passed out. He was asleep the whole time like a little baby angel. We start making out, and his head appears on my shoulder. While
he's like, "Who are you? What are you doing to my mom?"
Dead ass. He was like, and silently, like he wasn't getting all like his feathers weren't getting ruffled or anything. Yeah, he wasn't like, oh my God, like get away from her. He was just sort of like, what about me? What about me?
Can I get on this? 3-way makeout? Like dummy? 3-way?
Yeah. I was just sort of like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Like, what
Stop
are you
trying
doing?
to cock block.
I know. No, dead ass. I was like, yo, what a cock block. But it was cute. Actually, it was a pretty good, like, awkward tension icebreaker to have him sort of do that. So it was, gave us an opportunity to laugh about it a little bit. But I what am I going to do with him? I can't carry on like that forever.
Oh no, we're going to have to I don't know. What do you do with that? I mean, maybe he'll just.
I think in the future dates, I need to put him in his crate. I don't need to close the door, but if I lead him to his crate, he'll settle in there. And if he wants to come out, he'll come out. But if he's not around and he can't hear me smooching someone else, then maybe he'll fucking be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. What an absolute prick, though. He was just like
so funny.
Hey. Yeah.
What's going on over here, guys?
Every day I learn a new behavioral response that I need to train away from with that boy.
I love it though.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's sweet. All right. Other than that, just been cramming fucking Love Island. Like, I'm born to do it. I'm gonna miss it. For real.
I know. Yeah, I'm really starting to settle into it. At first I was more like, before I actually really bought into the people and like had my favorites, I was like, okay, I'm over this. Like, this is a lot of Love Island. Like, this is a lot of TV.
Yeah.
And then now that I like actually have a vested interest in certain people, I'm like, okay, when's the next episode? I need to keep watching.
Yeah, so I know.
It's a little
and
interesting.
I think we have 1 week left.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
I think it's 1 week. Like they're, what's on the horizon is they're going to have their like baby trials. Do you remember that?
Oh, no. I think
Oh,
that's
maybe.
a new thing
Okay,
too with CASA and everything.
This is a newer development. Yeah. Okay, I won't spoil it for you.
They get plastic babies and they have to like mother them.
That cry.
Yeah. I got those in 8th grade, dude. They're the worst.
Really? You had the parenting project?
Yeah, we did. And we had to like change their diaper, feed them, and like you got stuff to go home and your baby had a barcode that would like send a report back. So if you neglected it, you got in trouble, which you should. We shouldn't train children to neglect babies. But it was intense.
Good point.
It was you had to burp it. Like it was a thing.
You know what's interesting? It's interesting that like, because that is like a very classically known, school assignment. It's not present in every like school, like education program. But it's interesting that there are some places in America that will teach like children how to become parents more than they'll teach like safe sex education.
Well, let's look at that. That was in Florida, where what happened when Roe versus Wade got overturned in the state of Florida. So, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, 100%.
We're going to take away the abortion pill, but we're going to teach you how to burp a baby.
Yeah, 100. And it's like, it's really confusing to me because it's like, don't get me wrong. There's a part of me that I was listening to. I was like, okay, what's the point of this? Right. Some kids become parents really young. Yeah. Let's help them teach a little bit of responsibility. It's like a perspective tool as well. It's like, learn to see outside of yourself for 1 fucking week. However, maybe just like, let's just talk about condoms, maybe.
Yeah.
And other options.
Yes. And how to say no.
Wild.
How to say no.
I wish, what I wish was included in my sex education, educational programs was like the nuances of like consent. Like I wish that there were, I wish that there was more light shed on the fact of like, just someone to be real, to be like, you might be in a situation with someone that you like. And because you like them, you feel pressured to have sex with them. Mm-hmm. And because you feel pressured to have sex with them, you feel like bad things are going to happen if you don't. So like, you don't have to say yes if it doesn't feel like the right time. Like maybe that's more of a parental responsibility, a conversation to have by parents, but you can't standardize that.
And a lot of parents don't have that conversation with their kids.
I never did. I literally never had any sexual conversation with my parents ever.
Yeah. And
to this day.
Needed. It's so needed. It's so needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's so needed. Yeah. Kids will do like what you show them to do. And so if you are not comfortable talking about sex with them, they're not going to be comfortable talking about sex with their partner. Like it's so important. It's so important. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'm with that. I'm so with that.
Yeah. I guess we'll catch back up with the baby chat when we see them go through the baby test.
Oh my gosh. Some people are going to be so good and some people are going to be so not good at this. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah. I love when the boys surprise me that they're like,
I know,
really
and they're
great.
good at it. It's sexy.
Very sweet. It is sexy.
It is.
Like, care for
someone
a living
who's good
being.
With kids. Oh my God. It's
hot. And you know what? It's interesting. Can be true even if you're not interested in having children.
Oh yeah. Because I'm not really interested in having children yet. I still very much appreciate that. And I value that. Because although I might not want my own kids right now, I'm so down to babysit all my friends' kids. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be the cool, non-related auntie.
Auntie, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but 100%.
To have a partner that's, like, good with kids, gets down on their level.
Yeah.
Knows how to talk to them.
And respect them. Yep. Yes.
Oh, my God. Sexy.
Huge. So sexy.
Huge turn on.
Very.
Ooh, cool. I love that. Okay. Let's talk about this week.
Let's talk about it. Our islanders.
Islanders. Okay. I want to know quickly, you mentioned, there's some couples that you're like, have, vested interest in. Who are they?
Well, obviously Tasha and Andrew, because I feel like what Tasha's been through, especially compared to other people in the villa, like Dami and others who we'll get into later, I feel she's been treated like they've been so hard on her for something that she's done that has not been that bad, in my opinion. So I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, am I really like the only one that feels Tasha's been bullied low key? And I'm like, no, I can stand behind this. Like, I have proof. I can rewind this tape. So then, I do like Paige and Adam so far. I do like them.
I like them too.
I like, Luca and Gemma have kind of grown on me.
They're just boring. They're boring.
They're kind of boring, and Luca has some, not like Gemma's perfect, but there's some things that Luca does that I'm a little like, bro, we got to grow up a little,
Yes.
Yeah, which totally possible. But yeah, those I think would be my top 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I feel that.
What about you?
I would say the same. I have a vested interest personally in Davide because he's really grown on me as an individual.
I agree. I like him as just a dude. Yeah. He's funny.
Yeah. I like him as a dude. Yeah, I think he's funny. His arrogance surprisingly doesn't bother me. And I just want good things for him in his life after Love Island. That's all.
Do you think his arrogance doesn't bother you because of his Italian accent, so it sounds kind of like cheeky in that way instead of serious? What?
First of all, definitely. Definitely. No, but I think I like the way that he uses it. Like, he almost uses it as like a protective shield.
For sure.
And I don't know why that is like entertaining to me instead of like alarming. Maybe it's the accent.
Well, and I also think because I feel like you as an individual, you can recognize it, see through it, and you know how to handle it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it doesn't intimidate you. It doesn't bother you because you're like, I know inside there, like through this defensive stallion type, facade you put on, there's like a little pony that's like waiting to be loved. You know what I mean?
Just there's an like Italian pony.
Yeah, I know. But you know what I mean? I had to stay with like the horse realm because of the stallion part.
And I'm so glad that you did. We should tell him, we should like DM him and be like, we know that you are the Italian stallion in your eyes and Ekken's eyes, but I just want you to know I see your pony side. I see it. and we accept it.
Yes, we do. So anyway, but I'm with that. Yeah, I would love to see him with someone other than Ekin and like really get to see him feel like safe in a relationship and like see that more vulnerable pony side come out. But I don't think we're gonna get that far.
Let's definitely in this episode, let's cover the progression of like Davide's feelings though, because he's gotten a lot more comfortable with her as this week has progressed.
He's gotten accustomed to the crazy.
Yeah, he's hooked in. So where we leave off is the end of the like movie premiere, horrible toxic game that was. And so the fallout is Ekin and Davide have to have words with each other. Dami and India have to have words with each other. The whole Billy situation, so on and so forth. But where we start is Dami and India. I think, again, India is trying really hard to like put Dami in a like doghouse situation, but he makes that very difficult for her, and I feel like she just like sort of breaks really quickly with him. So they get over it pretty quickly, and
they also call it not an argument, which I was bothered by.
Yeah, what did you think about that?
I just think they're trying to belittle the conflict that they had. Like, and this is what I think is so fascinating about relationships in general. Like, everyone has such a, we don't fight. Like, everyone feels like they need to posture, like, and it's like, guys, fighting in conflict, that is not the issue. It's how you handle it that matters. And so.
Could not agree more.
Yeah, and so I feel that like when both of them are kind of like trying to just make up and ignore what the uncomfortability or the discomfort rather, because I always like to make up words, of that argument, they're just like, yeah, it wasn't an argument, you know? And it's like, guys, it was, though. And that's okay. That doesn't define your relationship. Every relationship's going to have arguments. It's how you handle it. So do you both feel that you have closed that chapter and like talked out and aired out what you needed to discuss, you know, or not? Yeah. So that's kind of what I thought of it, was just like, do yourselves a service of like not needing to hide behind this. We're healthy because we don't fight. It wasn't an argument. It's like, ooh, that's not what makes or breaks a relationship.
Yeah, agreed. I think that that's so important. And, you know, conflict and conflict resolution is something that is always a topic of conversation between you and I on this show. Yeah. And there's a reason for it, because if we have not made this abundantly clear, conflict will always be relevant in your relationships, whether it is in your romantic relationship, your familial relationships, and your like platonic relationships. Mm-hmm. I think that it is so important to accept the inevitability of conflict, to be able to say, we can, like, let's just try to approach this in the best way that we can. And maybe we fumble a little bit, but if we can allow ourselves to work through what went wrong so that we can come back together. We've said it before, but I will say it again. I promise, if you can get there, it will facilitate even a deeper closeness. Yeah. And it's when we run away from conflict that we're like, again, like you said, we posture ourselves like we don't fight. But really, like, that's not something to be proud of. That's actually quite avoidant. Yeah.
Because someone isn't being truthful, if that's the case.
Exactly. Like that. And it's fine if you find yourself registering that there's not many fights present, because you tend to address disagreements, miscommunications head on. They don't really need to escalate. And that's great. Yeah. But, we can accept that arguments are likely. And I don't think that what Dami and India are doing as far as resolving is really facilitating a deep understanding of each other from both their perspectives when it happened. It seems like a quick wanting to make it seem like you understand where the other person is going through, or where they're coming from, to quickly get to resolution. Right. That's what I feel like.
And avoidance. With them. Yeah, it's like, let's just barrel through this so that we can sweep it under the rug. Yeah.
Like, because if it was really like about the conflict, like y'all would have been there for like 45 minutes at least.
Oh my God. Yeah. Trying to like talk out like, okay, and validate. I hear you. Okay. So if I'm listening, what I'm picking up is this. And so you felt it was okay, Dami, for you to explore in this way, because in your mind, you knew that what we had was special. So like you were just having like a guy's time. Okay. Heard. This is why I'm upset. Right. And like really air it out. So it's just, And I don't feel like they really came, like you said, came to that understanding of each other's opinions and perspectives. Yeah. Which leaves it vulnerable to happening again and again and again. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Because there's no learning. No. If you're approaching conflict in a really intentional way, one or both of you should walk away with more information about your partner. Yes. In an effort to actually prevent the same consistent issues happening. You might have new issues or new like levels to your stuff that leads to conflict, but typically, like, what we would like to see is sort of a takeaway of, okay, what I understand now that I didn't before, because we're not mind readers and we don't know everything that's going to upset our partners, nor should we. But what I understand now is that, like, something like this, you know, upsets you. And now I understand why it does. And now I understand what I could do a little bit differently. And listen, if that's a boundary of yours that you can't cross, and it's not something you can promise or give to another person, you speak on that. But if what they're asking for is fair game, like, take that, run with it, and see that only conflicts around other things pop up in the future after that.
Yep.
Hey. Okay, so then we see Dami and Summer sort of try to make up. Dami has a lot of apologizing to do, but that's not exactly what he does he?
No, I did not. I did not like this. He was like, okay, fine, you're not fake. I take it back. And Summer calls him out and she's like, okay, but you still haven't apologized. And he was like, sorry. I hated that. I hated that. He literally only said sorry. And then Summer in her confessional is like, okay, so he apologized and we're going to move on. You know, like we don't want there to be any bad vibes in the villa. But it's like, bro, he's not sorry though. Cause like that was not an apology, and nor did he validate the way you were, how his actions impacted you. You know, so he's not showing true understanding for what he did, nor is he taking responsibility for what he did. So it's like, huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Icky. If I were India, what a unique opportunity to be able to see how your partner is like navigating this stuff. If I were India, I'd be paying very close attention to this.
Yeah. Because how he treats Summer by like, you know, Summer says something that he doesn't want her to say, you know, or, you know, that didn't have the fallout that he wanted it to have. And so he immediately jumps at calling her fake. So it's like a version of name calling, right? Because he's attacking her character in that moment. And unfortunately, you know, unless you're doing the inner work and implementing healthy relationship skills, I feel like autopilot version of a lot of humans is to treat those closest to us the worst. So it's like, if he's going to treat Summer that way, what's he going to call you behind closed doors when you say something he doesn't like? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just something to be aware of. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have the opportunity to pay attention to stuff like this with your partner, with other people in their lives, like taking up, what am I looking for? An objective interest in it.
We're getting curious.
And see how it makes you feel. Yeah, let's get curious.
I love that word.
Okay, so I love the action of that word.
Yeah.
Being curious.
It's the best,
it's
most
beautiful.
Compassionate way to confront your shit.
Totally.
Yeah.
I totally agree. That could be an entirely other podcast episode by the way. Yeah. Getting deeper. Okay. There's a couple of little things that happened before the Snog, Marry, Pie game.
Yeah.
So just to run through it, like Danica has been coupled up with Billy. They have their own little connection. Yeah. It's fine. It's whatever. Deji expresses interest in Danica. And what I found pretty interesting about this is that he's like, listen, I know that you're still feeling out your connection with Billy, but like if you were to be able to focus on me, like I'd give you 100%. You deserve 100%, and I'm willing to give you that. I can't promise that I'm going to wait around forever, but I wanted to let you know where I'm at so you can think about it. First of all, chef's kiss. What a beautiful
For real.
approach.
So hot. Yeah.
Really hot. And Danica obviously is having this physical connection with Billy. And so, and we'll talk about what happens in the game, but when things eventually don't work out, she's so upset about Billy, which is very understandable because she was like invested in their connection. They like hook up a little in like a more intimate kind of way. And then when things don't work out and she decides that like they're done, she's so upset and she's like, no one in this villa is here for me. And I was just like, what about our guy Deji?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just wanted to mention that first.
Yeah, I saw the same thing, and I'm really glad, you know, I'm kind of jumping forward, but with the new guy that she ends up picking, I'm glad she didn't self-sabotage in the same way she did with Deji, because I was, like, trying to see if this was a pattern with Danica. It's like a guy shows up and is, like, all about you, and you don't, you know, instead you chase the guy who's, like, not really into you, right? And I think a lot of people struggle with this because I think all of us in our minds, like, obviously want a partner who's all about us. But if you're not, like, receptive to that, they will show up and you are not going to know what to do with them. And I'm speaking from personal experience. Yeah.
And I will second that. I have been there many times. It's so true. So why is that? Are we just... we say that we want this thing, but when the opportunity comes, when someone's actually really making making it known that they are about us, we're not actually as available, emotionally available, and as willing to receive that kind of attention in that way, in that moment.
Yes, exactly. Okay. It's like we don't feel safe receiving that level of love, that level of affection, that level
scares us.
Yeah, because it's like if you haven't experienced that before, and you have, especially like for me and my story, like I was so used to like being the one that's like, okay, when am I seeing you again? Okay, yeah, this day, this time. Okay, yeah, let's coordinate the dates. Me speaking up, like, hey, I'm into you. Like I was always the one pursuing, proving my worth, and like when that flips and it's like, okay, wait, now I'm more in the feminine energy of like, I'm going to sit back and receive this. Like, I'm going to allow them to step up to the plate. It can be so off-putting if we haven't done it before. And so a part of me feels that that's kind of what Danica experienced with Deji, but she learned that lesson real quick because she had another guy. And we're going to get into this new guy in a minute, but like he showed up and was all about her. And she was like, okay, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, because it's so true. It's like I think a lot of time, again, we've talked about this on the show a lot. The mystery of not knowing where we stand with someone can really show up as chemistry or the spark. And so we get curious about that, wanting to like explore it. Whereas like when someone no nonsense takes the mystery out and is like, I want you. Like we lose that, like, I don't need to chase, I don't need to prove, which is really a beautiful thing. But because of the lack of anxiety inducing, do you like me? Are you as into me as I'm into you? We're not as attracted to it. It's really fascinating.
We register it as like boring and like a throwaway connection.
Which is so not true because we all want the person that's like, that's my girl. That's who I'm with. She's mine. And I'm stoked about that. You know, and she's mine in a nice way, not like in a property way. Can I be clear?
Possessive. Yeah, absolutely.
Like proud
absolutely.
To be with.
Proud to be with. I'm proud to
call
be
her
associated
mine. Yeah,
with this
exactly.
person.
Yeah.
I understood what you were saying. Love Island is such a good example of this, and a lot of these dating shows, because it's like, we've said this when we were covering The Bachelorette way back when, but like, it's like, sometimes when some of these people who are obviously like really good catches are in a position where they're like looking for love and they're really like, I'm just ready for someone to like be all about me. We really start to see what patterns that people fall into quite frequently that may have made that difficult on their part in the past up until this point. And I think that that's definitely one for Danica's, which is, and her patterns through and through.
Yeah.
On this season, because she went for Luca, not interested in her. She went for Jay, not interested in her. She went for
Andrew
Billy,
for a
not
second.
interested in her. She went for Andrew so it's like she is not familiar with registering someone who is interested in her.
Yeah.
She's probably far more used to and comfortable being in the lane of, I like you, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah.
So, and they're like, nothing, bye.
Yeah. So we get to Snog Mary Pie after Deji has confessed, his interest in Danica, and boy, oh boy, did this change some things for some people. Yeah.
I think like the overall summary of same things is Luca gets pied a lot, Dami gets pied a lot, which they both deserved it.
Yeah.
Ekin gets pied a lot, she deserved it. Tasha gets pied a lot, she didn't deserve it, but it like we'll get into that.
It tracks with what the crowd has been saying.
It tracks. Yeah. Paige gets proposed to a lot.
Yeah.
Adam gets snogged a lot. And Dami and India are like playing games with each other throughout this game, which I thought was, I wasn't surprised, but I thought it was really weird. Again, they are sort of posed as this like front runner couple. And I just find them to be one of the, they have a good connection. I'm not saying that they don't, but I think that they're the most immature. And so they haven't done anything to actually support the foundation that should be built around that connection.
Agreed. Yeah. I think they're both just like really enjoying each other for the sexuality side of it and like the personality side of it. But like when it comes to like how are we going to set ourselves up for long-term success, I don't think either of their minds are there. Yeah.
They are not doing it. I could not agree more. The thing that was really interesting to me was Billy got up there. He's got all of the girls, his pick to Snog, Marry, Pie.
I know.
And he kisses Gemma. He proposes. I don't even remember.
We knew that was
I don't remember
happen.
who he proposed. Yeah, which is like, dude, read the room. He proposes to someone else, maybe Paige.
Yeah,
Paige.
I think it was.
And
Paige.
then pies Ekin? I don't know who he pies. I think so. It doesn't matter because what does matter is that he didn't choose Danica for anything.
Once.
And they had literally just come off of like, I'm just going to say it, rubbing each other's genitals.
I know, rubbing each other's genitals. I'm just going to say it. I love you. That was so funny.
I'm just going to say it.
Rubbing each other's genitals.
I'm just going to say it. Let's just call it what it was.
The most unsexy way of saying What'd you do Saturday night? I rubbed their genitals.
We rubbed each other's genitals. Yo, I do be like letting people know that that's what's been going on. We rubbed each other's genitals. It's no big deal. Very cute. So it was so horrible. That must have made her feel so
not
shitty.
Seen. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I understood how she felt. The aftermath was sort of like the impact of that was Danica was like, oh, okay, got it. This person doesn't actually care about me.
Yeah.
And I felt that in my fucking bones.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's the position of like someone really trying to make something work with someone that is not as invested in you as you are in them. And then having to sort of subtly deduce through their behavior that it's time to really like take a hint.
Yeah.
And that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I mean, obviously I feel for her. Like she has done her damnedest at trying to like connect with someone. Again, do I feel she's done it in the best way? No. So she's kind of shot herself in the foot a few times, but I think that's why she's like starting to wisen up now that like the summer is almost over in the villa. Like I think she's like done.
Literally.
Yeah. And it's, you know, I hope that's like my number one hope for Danica is like she came on here and maybe she really had that realization. Like I'm so used to chasing after guys who don't want me that the guy, I'm going to sit back, and she's doing it now. She's like, I've been grafting. I'm done. I'm going to sit here and you all can graft, because if I'm walking out of here, I'm walking out of here with my head held high. And I was like snaps for Danica, you know, to the TV in my own little apartment, because I really believe in that. Like, you know, if someone is interested, they will make time for you. If someone is interested, they will show up, right? And it's like, do we all go through our own shit? Yes. And we can't allow, you know, us taking over responsibility and like trying to force a connection to work. And what I mean by that is like basically what she was trying to do with Billy. It's like they had a friendship, they, you know, had that flirty banter, but does that automatically mean that that's the right connection for you? No. And so she keeps putting herself out there, trying to take over responsibility for Billy's half and connecting. You know what I mean? So it's like, now that she's kind of learned this the hard way, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but like 4 or 5 times this girl has done this to herself. She's finally in that boss bitch energy of like, look, I'm good. Like I have done it and I have clearly fell flat on my face. So now I'm going to sit up here on my throne and y'all can come let me know if you're interested for real. And then I will test that connection. And she did. Get it, girl.
And we fucking love her for it. It was about time. But I agree. I think that like this is not just a shift about who's available and who's not. Maybe there's some part of that that's at play here. But I do think it was a shift in intention, like intentional behavior on Danica's part. I really think that she sort of got the hint of like, I'm done doing this. And to be fair, she is the only like eligible girl at this rate. So there's less at stake as far as are they going to be connecting with someone else in a way that might be a better suit than me. So she wasn't as stressed.
Yeah.
Which probably aided to her confidence to just sit back.
Totally. Yeah.
Good for
so
Danica.
Proud of her.
Proud of her. Okay, so after the Snog Marry Pie Fest. Wait. Yeah. Let's do our check-in.
Okay.
Who are we snogging? Who are we marrying? Who are we pieing among the men?
Okay, so the reason we're doing this is because Brie, when we were watching this throughout the week, Brie sent me a voice note telling me, and I refused to listen to it because I was like, no, we need to do this on the show. Okay. Yeah. I would snog Adam. I would marry Andrew, and then I would pie. I couldn't pick between Dami or Luca. I guess I would choose Luca at this point in the week.
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, gotcha. I would snog Adam. I would marry Deji. And I would pie Dami. Yeah, I would marry Deji. Deji and I would get on. I would pie the fuck out of Dami. If I could pie him more, I would. I don't think that he's a bad guy. He's really pissed me off this season. And it has a lot to do with Casa, but it has a lot to do with his behavior elsewhere as well. Casa. I just need him to fucking grow up.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, take some ownership. Like, show up. It just is he's so passive and kind of like, meh, meh, meh. Like, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear because I know that'll get me out of the weeds. But, like, it's so not, it's just icky. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, and I just think he's a try hard. I think him and Luca are tryhards in their own right. Like they want to be really well liked in certain ways. That's why they sort of kick up with their banter at the most inappropriate times. And that is a big ick for me.
Yeah.
Big ick.
Yeah, that's what Andrew kind of said in his whole thing. So, yeah, moving on. Let's do it.
Oh, so let's talk about that. So Dami and Luca pie Tasha because of their wanting to really put the final nail in the coffin of how they feel about her and the responsibility that they're taking for their friend who is no longer upset with Tasha. And I think that that's the cue that they missed. So Tasha is rightfully upset. She's really upset. And I think for the first time in Tasha's emotional response, both Luca and Dami individually recognize that, you know what, that was too much. So you know what I did appreciate is that they each individually talked to Tasha by their own accord. And I like that they did that before they spoke to Andrew.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause before I say more. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, both Andrew also was like, I haven't seen that dude rattled like that in a long time. Or ever on this show, rather. And, there has been my biggest, quote unquote, critique for Andrew has been not having Tasha's back more when this shit was happening, leading up to this point. I feel like he could have been like, okay, guys, I hear you, and I'm choosing to be with Tasha, so drop the shit, drop the shit talking. I feel like he could have had her back a little bit more, weeks ago when this was starting, and it took him getting to this point to where he was like, okay, you guys, let it fucking rest, right? He was super emotional about it. And so I just feel like some of this could have been prevented if he had a bro heart to heart with them and been like, I understand your guys' concern for me, and I really appreciate that. And at this point, with what I know with my connection with Tasha, I'm choosing to be with her. So the best way you guys can support me is to drop the trash talking. I'm not saying you need to sit here and tell me how great she is, but I don't want you sitting here telling me your concerns on repeat, and rubbing it in her face.
Absolutely. In a way, he gets that with them. Because, and I back him, I back his sentiment here when he says, we're trying to move past this, but the digs that the two of you continue to take at her is making it hard for us to get past it.
Yeah.
You know, we keep having to revisit it, and it's not because it's coming from either of us. It's coming from you lot. And I think that was a good takeaway lesson for me, and for anyone else who might relate to this, that as friends, as supportive people in the important people's lives around us, like, yes, it is amazing to be a good friend and to give like solid feedback and be like, listen, I'm going to give you a hard truth because I care about you and I want to be real with you, because that's what we do here.
Right.
But take a cue from your friend. If they set a boundary and they're like, listen, heard, understood, but I'm going to need you to trust me on this one. And if I fuck up and fail, let me fuck up and fail. You got to take the L and hang back and let your friend do what they're going to do. You don't have to fight every battle on their behalf just because you have some definitive opinion on where the morale is in this very nuanced debate.
Yeah. And the reason this irks me the most, especially from Dami, is it's like, it's really hypocritical in my eyes. This is an Alex thing, so I'm going to take full ownership of my opinion here because I feel like that's ethically important. From my eyes, I feel that Dami has been so hard on Tasha for talking to other guys when Dami went and had his tongue down other women's throats and did way more with multiple people than Tasha has done. And so for you to be so hyper-focused on Tasha, girl, I will die on the Tasha hill because my heart goes out to that girl for what she's had to put up with. Like, for her, but do I think her proposal to Andrew could have been better? Yes, I didn't. That's one thing where I was like, girl, you could have said more about him than like, he's my boyfriend, so obviously I'm going to propose. I was like, no, tell him why you love him.
Let me tell you that I wrote that down for both her and
Luca.
Yes, and Gemma. Like, I was like, why is it that the girls who've exchanged I love yous were like, well, obviously because he's my boyfriend. It's like, okay,
like,
say a nice thing.
Yeah, like, can we please reciprocate it? Men want to feel wanted and loved too.
I thought that was so weird.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that, but I don't think she deserves to be come after for weeks upon weeks just for talking to 2 dudes, 3 dudes, right? Whereas, where it's like, bro, you've done way more. Like, and so it's like, you cannot, be coming at her when you're not even holding yourself to the same standard. So anyway, it bothered me. Yes, I'm glad they both pulled her individually and they talked it out. But honestly, at this point, I'm a little scarred like from how they've been treating her. So it's just like, for me, in watching this show, I've needed to take my time to like repair that quote unquote parasocial relationship that I have with them on TV. But I can only imagine how Tasha's feeling, like.
Totally. I think that she desperately needed the relief of them the signal that like the white flag of like they were going to back off. Right. Yeah. She needed that so that she could start to relax back into the villa. Because she wasn't relaxed.
No.
I love the nod to your parasocial relationship with these fears that live on the television, because I love that so much, because you're like, I need time.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm laughing. It's like, I need time. I don't trust this yet.
I'm not over this. You know what I'll say though? I'm with you. Although I found Luca's apology to be far more genuine. I mean, actually, my little caveat there is, I hate when men, I guess I'm going to be generalizing about men. I hate men, historically, men have this aversion to women's tears.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I don't want to see you cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Please don't cry. Like, first of all, let me fucking cry.
Yeah.
Men have these aversion to tears, and so he says, like, I think that where he was coming from was really genuine. I just wish that this wasn't part of it. If I could cut and slice and dice this, was when he was like, I hate to think that I made you upset. If you really hated to think that you made someone upset in the way that you did, you wouldn't have done it over and over and over and over and over. again.
My notes have that I don't really believe either of them. Like, I don't think they're remorseful of it. Yeah. I also put a note with Dami that I feel like he fills the air with words to distract from any point. Like, Dami's words are kind of like sand. There's so much that it's like, okay, wait, I'm trying to like grasp, like, where are you going with this?
Oh my God. And it's the tone too. It's sort of like
mumbly.
A self-assuredness.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also it's interesting. I know we're like hyper fixating on linguistics here, but I do think it's important when you're apologizing to someone and like in the way that Dami does, where he's like backing up his reasons, where he's like, it was just because of this and this, it's because of this and this and this. It's coming through in a really confident, like, I'm saying a true thing. And because of the way he's saying it, it's like, it puts the other person on the receiving end in the position to sort of, you're demanding that they also
agree,
like feel the same way. Exactly. You're demanding that they agree with you because you're trying to like make sense of it in a really logical way. So I just like, it's baloney.
Yeah. Because Tasha could have easily been like, Dami's sitting there saying, well, I'm only coming at you because your head turned, or like you talked to this guy and that guy. And it's like, Tasha could look at him and be like, really, Dami? Not once have I come after you for having multiple makeouts with this person, that person, and the other person. So it's like, no, I wouldn't treat people the way that you've treated me over and over and over again, for something far worse than what I've done. So it's just like,
my goodness.
Yeah. Like, I don't like it. Apologize better.
Agreed. What I appreciated at least was that this finally fucking popped the balloon.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, and the impact that had was the whole villa relaxed, and Tasha and Andrew, it was a night and day difference as far as where they both were headspace in their relationship. And we said this a couple episodes back, where it was like, are Tasha and Andrew really that much of an incompatible match because they keep going through hardships in their relationship? Or is that they are so entwined in drama that is honestly facilitated by other people outside of their relationship as well, and the public, that it's making it difficult for them to like feel good with each other? The minute that the pressure was off of them, the two of them skyrocketed to relationship moon.
Yeah, they're fine. Like,
yeah,
they have potential. They do. They have potential to make, I feel like they've had really good conversations. I really value Andrew's communication ability. I really value it. I think he does a good job in being vulnerable, but also, like, matter of fact, like, he's not like, it's a good mix. Like, he has a good mix about him that I really, really, really appreciate. And I think because of his communication style, it allows Tasha to communicate that way. Because the reason I see Andrew communicate this way, not only with Tasha, but with the guys. So that's why I'm attributing it to him. Obviously, I'm a big believer there's always room for improvement, but like, as far as always, and there will forever be, but when it comes to the two of them and like what they've had to go through in this pressure cooker of a show, I really feel that they've navigated it well, and that means that real life they'd probably be able to navigate pretty well too. Yeah,
I'm with that. I hope that for them, they have some stuff to work on.
For real.
We noticed that right around this time, when they start to relax and they're enjoying each other's company better, they start talking about living together, moving in together.
Yeah.
I understand the thought process, because they're like, we've only known each other through living together. We spend all of our time together anyway. That would be a really different transition to then spend less time together. But Alex and I were talking before we started recording that we both agree that probably the best thing for them, if they could continue to navigate their trust issues with one another, the best thing for them would actually live separately and start dating each other in sort of like a kind of, I don't want to say traditional sense, but like court each other again.
Yeah.
Start fresh.
Yeah. Start fresh. And I was sharing this with Brie, like, I'm of the mindset that like, date someone for all 4 seasons of the year before you live with them. Because I feel like at that
get
point,
through a winter.
Yeah, get through a winter, get through like seeing them, you know, handle stress in different ways. And it's just like, I really feel that at that point you can make more of an intentional, realistic, like, okay, yeah, I do want to mesh my life with you. Whereas when we're like moving in with people 3 months, 6 months into a relationship, we haven't fully seen all of the layers of the person yet. And that could leave us in for some rude awakenings when we've meshed our lives together. And at that point, a lot of people start to make, you know, justifications for their actions because it becomes harder to untwine your lives, you know? So unmesh. So anyway, that's my personal opinion. So I really feel that
agreed.
It would serve them to like live separately for a while and then sure, move in together. But like, don't just jump the gun of moving in together because that's how you've started dating. You still have so much to learn about each other.
I fully agreed. Absolutely.
Okay. Next.
Okay. So Billy and Danica go through their sort of fight. So they end up fighting about the fact that Danica it dawns on her after talking to the girls that she's actually more upset about Billy sort of spilling the beans on their mutual genital rubbing with other people at the house. So, but what's interesting is that like Danica seemed like she let Billy know that she didn't appreciate it in a way that seemed true to Danica's like processing of it at the time. And don't get me wrong, people are allowed to process and feel differently about things with time. That's fine. But it seemed that Danica was really sponsored by like someone like Ekin-Su being like, no, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And Danica is a listener and an observer, and she takes cues from the people around her, because I was watching her have these conversations with the girls and they were like, you should be mad about that. And she goes like, okay, you know, instead of being like, I just don't feel that mad about it. Mm-hmm. She was like, okay, you know, sort of like how babies learn from their moms about like, is a thing like good or a bad, you know, a good or a bad. Yeah. It's like, Mom, is this bad? And if Mom's like, no, it's fine, the baby's like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
You know, Danica's doing the same thing with these girls around her. And I just think that like their opinions are, they have a right to them, but they should also respect if Danica is like not that bothered.
Totally. Yeah. I thought it was interesting because I'm pretty sure Danica told two of the girls, India and Summer, I think, that she did genital rubbing with Billy. So
she did.
So it's like, you can't, she did genital rubbing with Billy. So she like, you know, she comes after him.
She did it too.
I know, she comes after him for that, but it's like, girl, no, like that's not really the issue. You're not pissed that he told people because you told people. You're pissed because after you did that, you feel entitled, right? Or that he owed you some kind of something, which again, ladies, don't ever do sexual things with anybody for the sake of convincing them to be with you or whatever, like expecting some kind of outcome, you know, because this is when you get hurt, because that's really what was going on. That's what pissed her off. She thought, or she felt that
meant that they were progressing.
Right, that it was like a mutual emotional thing, not just like a fuck buddy thing. And so then what ended up happened, and it's like, man, that poor girl. So
I know.
Yeah, so I feel like she started it off on the wrong foot because she was like just, you know, trying to hold him accountable for something that she also didn't stick to. But then eventually she was like, look, because of this, like, it's clear that you aren't into me, so we're going to be done. Yeah. And we also...
But louder. She was very loud. Was louder about
she
it.
Was. And Billy tried to tell her to calm down, which made it worse. And we've been talking about that a lot recently on this show. Don't tell someone to calm down when they're heated. It's only going to make it worse. Just say, okay, I so get that you're angry right now. Yeah. I want to take a second to breathe. Okay, keep going. I'm listening, right? Because I feel when
I love that.
Yeah, because when I've used this tactic before, okay? When things start to get heated, if I take a moment to be like, okay, wait, I'm getting that you're upset. Before we get further into this, I just want to take a big breath. And when I do that, 98% of the time the other person does it too. So it's like a lead by example.
I just breathe.
Yeah, it is. It's
and
a
that's
great
so
little
different
thing.
than
Yes.
It's so different than telling someone to like, hey, okay, take a breath.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have been told that so many times, and it does
it's
not
like,
make me
you
feel
take
good.
a breath, bitch.
Yeah, literally. It's like, oh my God, slow down, take a breath.
But when we take it,
And
it's
I'm
like, okay, hey, I'm sensing. So I want to take a breath so I'm fully prepared to receive. Because that's true. When you take a breath, you're going to be more receptive because you're also regulating. You're staying present with the emotion, right? So when we do that, usually the other person will too. And then we all get the end result we want, which is a more calm and collected combo.
Hot tip.
Right?
Absolute fire
Lead
tip,
by
dude.
example. Okay. So
I love that.
They didn't do that though. But you know, what happened, and they are done. Hit the gavel.
Yeah. And then soon after that, there was a vote on favorite Islanders, which allowed for four people, 2 guys, 2 girls to be the least favorite. And it was down to Dami and Billy and Summer and Danica, and it left the Islanders to pick which guy and which girl they were going to save, which obviously they were going to save Dami for India and the fact that they have like a legitimate relationship brewing. And it was an interesting toss-up to see if they were going to cut Danica or Summer.
I know.
Yeah.
Summer, loved your vibe, not worried about you, wish you all the best.
Oh my God. An absolute stunner. Her fashion sense, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
The game.
She's a good looking girl.
She is. This is going to make me sound like a nice person, but I'm going to say it anyway. I know, but it's not exactly nice. I'm a bit grateful that Dami was in the bottom because I wanted him to have a little bit of perspective on it's how you moved, dude.
Yep.
Like, this is a consequence of your actions. And I don't think that Dami's a bad guy. I actually love Dami most when he's showing up for other Islanders.
Yep.
And he's supporting them.
Yep.
Especially the girls. Like, the girls have a really good connection with them. They feel very safe talking to him. They feel very safe, like, shooting, like, venting. But when it came to his own journey on this show, his behaviors were like all over the fucking map, and I didn't appreciate it. And I feel like that's what got him there. That's my opinion.
Yeah. And then after, he was kind of feeling some kind of way about being in the bottom. And I was like, wow, sucks to suck. You were in the bottom one time. Should I come over there and give you a lot of shit and tell you how you shouldn't be caring about how you were in the bottom because you have India and all these other things and completely invalidate your feelings and then pick on you about it? Let me do that, Dami.
Yeah. How interesting was that?
I know. I was really low-key thankful just so that he could have hopefully some empathy for what Tasha's been through. But
we never saw that.
We didn't.
Listen, none of us are above hypocrisy. No. Not a single one of us. We are all hypocrites. We have all been hypocrites. Yes. We will continue to be hypocrites. But I will tell you that a little self-awareness. Okay, this is my formula. Be in a position, allow yourself to have whatever feelings are coming up. Your feelings are valid. They are a natural and valid response to the stressor that you're facing. And as you process, if there's a moment to implement a bit of self-awareness, a bit of perspective taking to either lead towards empathy for someone else that has been in a similar position that you're quite judgmental about maybe, or any other variation of like, okay, this is what people go through sometimes. Like, this is it. Like, our emotions can be very tricky. They're very convincing that we are the only person that has ever felt this way ever before. Yeah. And I want to make sure that we can validate that the emotional response is fair, and also to like broaden out a little bit and be like, people go through this. Yep. This has happened. Speaking of, I have a friend that was going through this a lot in the last 5 weeks. What do you know? Maybe now would be a really good time. Like, wouldn't that have been beautiful if Dami pulled Tasha and was just like, listen, like, I get it. I felt like shit tonight. And I just wanted to say, like, I'm sorry that I made your experience being in the bottom 3 feel as easy to brush off in the past. Like, I actually didn't find it to be that easy. And so, you know, I get it now.
Yeah. I was hoping that would happen. It did not.
It would have been beautiful.
It would have been so beautiful. Yeah. So, note to self, when we do those things or experience those things. Yeah. And it is nice because it would have brought them together like as friends again, Tasha and Dami, because she would have been like, 1, thanks for that, and 2, let's talk about it, because now she has a friend to talk to who's been in the bottom with her, you know? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But alas.
Love a good apology.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Summer and Billy go home.
Yes.
Leaving Deji and Danica single. They do not crack on. They sort of check back in with each other, and they both mutually agree that like there's not enough of a romantic connection. Yeah. And I appreciate what Deji said. He was like, listen, like I meant what I said, but I soon realized that like you weren't prepared to give me 100%, and I am not interested in making an effort for someone that I don't feel like is ready to give me 100%. And I was like, goals.
Yeah.
Goals. Absolutely. Yeah. What a solid way to back yourself. And then we have 4 new Islanders come in at this. I always feel bad for the new people that show up at this stage, because there's just, unless you're connecting with someone who's single, like it's not it, babes.
Yeah.
We have Natalia, who is a fucking stunner.
Yeah.
Stunner. We have Lacey. We have Reese and Jamie.
Yep.
Hey.
I know. So, I mean, where do we want to go with this? Do we just want to go into the dates or where? Because I'm like,
let's go into the whole thing. So yes, initially the people that Natalia is attracted to is Adam and Davide.
Yeah.
Lacey is sort of open to everyone, but she finds herself talking to Deji. We love that for her. We love that for Deji.
Yes.
Reese and Jamie are both focused in on Danica.
Yep.
And by the way, yeah, Reese is also curious about Ekin-Su, which blows my mind. Okay. Then they each of the new Islanders get to pick a date with someone.
Yep.
Natalia picks Adam. Lacey picks Deji. Reese picks Ekin-Su, and Jamie picks Danica.
Yep. I mean, I was happy for Danica because, like, Jamie and Danica hit it off. I was on here. I was like, they're buzzing. I see it. I feel it. Yay, Danica. Those are my notes. Okay.
Also, they look good together.
They do. They're cute. They match.
Yeah,
they fit.
They're cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fit.
I have hope for them. Then we have Deji and Lacey. Lacey cracks me up because she's so self-aware. She's like, I'm a great girlfriend till I cheat. Like, she's like, it's kind of hard to tame me. Ooh. Yeah, super self-aware. But my thing is like, so how are you working on that? Like, you know, because it's like, I'm excited
what are you doing?
Yeah, like I'm excited that she's connecting with Deji, and at the same time, I'm like, please don't break Deji's heart, because he seems like just a normal, good dude, and like I don't want him to be cheated on, you know.
Me too. I don't want Deji to be cheated on.
She wore a red cocktail dress when she walked in, and she called herself a walking red flag. She's like, I dress like a walking red flag. What was
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it was funny. I'm just curious to know, like, what were your thoughts when you heard her being so self-aware, but not necessarily explaining what she's doing to work on these quote unquote red flags?
I feel like, unfortunately, it's like all too common. You know what I wish, actually? Maybe there are things. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Because I want to be given the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there are things that she is working on, but I would love for, if you're on a date with someone and someone is like, I've had these issues in the past, you know, they're showing self-awareness, they're actually being a little bit vulnerable, and they're not just trying to present the absolute best
version
of themselves.
Agreed.
Exactly. I would love for this to happen more, where the other person in this conversation is like not challenging them, like, okay, so what are you doing about it? Of like, let's approach it with curiosity. Oh, that's really interesting. So it seems like you're aware that that's an issue. Like, how, like, what are you doing differently?
How do you see yourself navigating this moving forward? Like those impulses.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that it would be nice for someone to hear that, validate it, and then kick it back and be like, okay, what are you doing? That would be really good information for the listener. And it would give the explainer an opportunity to talk about that without it feeling like they're droning on and trying to make a case for themselves, is my point.
Because here's my deal, and I feel like this is really important to point out because I think a lot of people don't understand this. If someone who is being upfront about like having a cheating past, first of all, I agree with Brie. Like, I say this to clients all the time. I'm like, and I work a lot with straight clients, so, but this is applicable to any orientation. It's like, if someone is telling you something that prohibits them from getting into bed with you, it's most likely the truth, right? So it's like, a guy is going to take you on a date and tell you most likely everything you want to hear, and like you said, present themselves as this perfect partner as a means to get you into bed. That happens a lot. So when a guy is like on a date, or anyone is on a date, and they're like telling you, I'm a walking red flag, or in the past I've cheated on my partners, or, you know, I'm really not looking for anything single, I just kind of want to date casually right now. These are all actually very good things because they're being honest. They're not just telling you what you want to hear. And what I think is something to really pay attention to is if someone is saying, you know, we're going to take this one step further in this example of a conversation of things to look out for. If someone says, I've had a history of cheating, and you reply, like Brie just said, you validate them, you're like, okay, I really appreciate the honesty, that's amazing, it sounds like you have a lot of self-awareness around that, how do you see yourself navigating those impulses moving forward? And they respond with something like, well, I just haven't found the right partner yet, and that's why I've cheated. Not a good enough answer to me. I'm sorry. You cannot blame your connection with your past partners on why you've cheated. No.
So true.
Right? Like, that's a decision that you've made. That's fine. Okay, well, you found yourself wanting to cheat. Why didn't you break up with your partner first? You know? It's like, you can't blame them and the connection or the lack of connection you've had with them for your decision to cheat. Right? It's like, let's explore that a little more. So I just want to share that because I think a lot of times people can romanticize that. Like, I'll be the right person for you then, and you won't cheat on me because I'm going to be so great for you, you know? And it's like, there is nothing you can do or say to have someone not cheat on you. That is a personal decision.
It's intrapersonal work that they would need to do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that it has nothing to do with your relationship or your connection, but it's like, it's not, I think that that's what people tend to get wrapped up in regarding being cheated on, where they're like, it's this belief that I'm not good enough for someone to stay and to be loyal to me and be faithful, when in reality, it's really not that black and white.
No.
There's so much else involved and going on that, like, it's not about your worth. But when you start thinking like, I need to be a perfect modeled version of myself so that someone doesn't want to look elsewhere,
you're
drive
missing
yourself
the
nuts. Whole target.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So, we have, it's interesting. Reese is cracking on with Ekin-Su, and she's like, and I, you know, from my perspective, this actually seemed quite genuine, where she was like feeling out. She was obviously being polite, you know, entertaining the date and this like young boy. Maybe it was just the age alone, because I think he's like 21.
Got you.
But 21 or 24, which are very different. But in Ekin-Su's mind, it's like, if you're not 28, then we're not dating.
I know.
It seemed pretty genuine that she was like, listen, what me and Davide have going on is like pretty good. I'm not interested in, you know, exploring other things at this time.
Yeah.
Not knowing yet how Davide was feeling about the other girls that had come in. So I thought that was a pretty sound risk that she took. Yeah. Without it feeling like too calculated. I mean, I'm sure it was calculated in its own right, of like, I'm continuing to prove my trustworthiness to Davide. That's obviously very important for him. But she could have waited. She could have entertained it longer to see what Davide was going to do with some of the other women that had come in, but she closed it off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I don't have any other notes on it.
Same. I don't think I even took a single note on
it. Yeah, Jamie and Danica hit it off. We love that. Natalia and Adam have a good chat. They also look good together. It's just like tall, sexy people.
I know. Yeah.
And it was interesting. It was interesting to watch the progression of Adam being taken out on a date by this really beautiful siren-esque, confident woman.
Yeah.
That lady is beaming with confidence, but like chill confidence.
Yeah.
She's not really trying to prove herself to other people. It's not like Ekin fake confidence.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a true knowing of self.
Yes.
Very different.
Yeah. Yeah. She's just like comfortable. She's like, I'm okay with me. Yeah.
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 So it was interesting to see Adam get picked for this date, to navigate the date and watch Paige's insecurities while that was all happening back at the villa. She totally unraveled.
Yeah.
Unraveled.
Yeah. She's been through it. Poor girl.
What'd you think about that?
I thought Gemma was like I was like, when Gemma talks to Paige about how valuable and worthy she is, I felt like my inner cheerleader has that Gemma kind of voice. Like, bitch, you got this, you know, like, you know that you're valuable.
Oh,
you know that like, that's kind of how I talk to myself, the way that Gemma was talking to her.
Ditto. I do the same thing.
Yeah. So I was like, I loved that vibe because Paige really needed that. Like the reminder of like, girl, no. Like, and she even said, Gemma was like, I don't see him doing like talking to anyone the way he talks to you for hours. Like, she's like, I just don't think it's going to happen. So like, be confident in what you have. And I completely agree with Gemma. And it's one of these like, energetic confidence things of like, look, if you knowing your worth, knowing what you have, of course the thought of like losing a partner is never fun to consider, but the reality is like, you know what you have, and if he is going to go off and find something that, you know, he feels is better with someone else, let him freaking go, because you don't want that anyway, right? And so it's like, it's one of those things where I feel that's kind of what Gemma was trying to say, and at the end of the day, Adam ends up coming back and ends up wanting to be exclusive with Paige because he's like, not even close, wasn't even on the same wavelength as what I have with Paige. And so that was confirmation for Adam to lock it down. So Paige ends up like really super duper happy. But I think a lot of women, like, we really struggle with, you know, like we were saying before, like we feel the need to try and be this perfect partner of ourselves to prohibit our partners from moving or considering or looking, checking out or cheating on us. And it's like, dude, if they are going to do that, it has nothing to do with you. It really has there's nothing. There's no amount of perfume, lingerie, makeup, anything that you can invest in that will convince someone to be faithful to you if they are not a faithful person. Like,
so wouldn't it be a better use of your time and energy to focus all of that attention to yourself and learning how to love who you are? Because I'm going to tell you, it was really devastating to watch Paige's thought process, like out loud of, she's like, I know I'm not that sexy girl. I'm just a nobody from this small town. Yet I was like, whoa,
Paige, you are, fucking bombshell.
So mean. She's a bombshell and first of all, it's like whether she looks the way that she does or not, to really hear, like, when I watched that, I was like, this is truly how Paige feels about herself every single day. And so many people, especially a lot of women, can really relate to that. It's this belief, this core belief that you aren't shit, and that there is someone that is always better than you. And the only way that you can you have flashes of moments when you feel good enough. And those moments are sort of when you're like peacocking, or you've done something kind of extreme that makes you feel like, my hair looks, you know, it's smooth. I got a blow dry, and, you know, I'm waxed and whatever the case is. It's like, but they're so fleeting, and it's also usually like a cosmetic difference, rather than like coming through from I could be in sweats and I'm still a bad bitch.
Hell yeah.
You know, like, you don't even have to look like Paige or any of these women to believe for yourself that you are worthy of someone's undevoted, like,
yes.
you know, devoted time and attention.
Yeah.
So it makes me really sad. So watching that, I was like, Paige, this is a thing, this negative core belief about yourself and how you look at evidence in the world that reinforces that belief about yourself. This is your work. Yeah. This is your job, your responsibility to deal with, because it's not going to, we believe that our insecurities die once we finally have a partner. Oh my God, I'm finally picked. It's the opposite. And it just like these problems, wherever you go, there you will be.
Yep.
You know, there you are. Your problems, your core beliefs are going to be with you, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're single, whether you're with someone who you could have a partner that's like, babe, I love you. Mm-hmm. I don't think about other people. And we still reinforce the belief of I'm not shit. This person's eventually going to find someone better than me. And once they realize that that's an option to them, I'm going to be left in the dust. No one can do that work for us. We have to fucking do it ourselves.
Yep.
Have to.
Damn straight. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
I feel
true.
so strongly about that.
Me too. Yes, because it's like what we leave unresolved. Like you said, we think like we'll get in a relationship and everything will disappear. And it's actually so the opposite, because whatever you didn't have to deal with when you were single, you will have to deal with in a relationship. And then let me tell you, cohabitating, a whole bunch of other shit's going to come up. Right. And it's like, new level, new devil. Every new level of a relationship, there is something new to navigate and conquer. You know, that's just what relationships are. Does that mean that they're doomed to fail? Hell no. It's the couples that confront their own shit and their shit together as a team that go the distance. And that, in and of itself, is its own sexy vibe. Because that's hot. Working on yourself and working on your shit 100%. Together.
Now, Paige did do a very good job of concealing all of this internal turmoil away from Adam, because we see even in like the last episode from this week, you know, again, like you said, Adam comes back to her and was like, listen, I was open-minded at the beginning of the date because it felt important to do that, you know, being where we are. We've only known each other a week, but I was thinking about you the whole time and I wanted to be here with you. And I just don't really think I need any other evidence to suggest that I'm ready to lock in on just you, which I thought was beautiful.
Yeah.
And so Paige did a really good job of concealing, and I say good job, and I mean it a little bit satirically, because I think that it would actually been kind of beautiful for her to be like, I'm so relieved that you say that, because I'll be honest, I was tripping. Yeah, I love hearing that, but I was tripping. I was tripping, and I got nervous there for a second, but that's me. That's my own shit. I'm really glad that you're back. I'm glad that you feel the same way that I do. I feel that way about you too. And let's carry on. And instead, Paige is like keeping her cards close to her chest still. She's afraid to tell this person how she feels. She really is. And Adam comes away from it. This is what I thought was really interesting. The show didn't make any effort to highlight this, but I'm noticing. Adam goes back to the boys after this conversation. He's like, yeah, really good chat. You know, Paige is really cool. She's really cool. I can see her being someone who, like, I can carry on doing what I want to do, and she'll be understanding. She'll be cool with it. And the boys were like, she'll want to be there with you. And that might be true. But Paige is a jealous person. That's a part of her journey right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's her own cross to bear. He doesn't know that about her right now, because she's really covering it.
I thought that was an interesting choice of language when he was like, she'll let me do what I want to do. I was like, wait, what is it you want to do? Like, what does that mean? Like, you want to go to the gym? Totally. You want to go out every night and with another girl? No. So not that I thought that that's what he was implying, but I heard him say that and I was like, what the hell does that mean? Like, in my mind, I was like, what? So yeah, that'll be interesting for them to navigate. And again, here we go. The lack of vulnerability, right? Because of that, there is a lack of emotional connection. Because like, if she would share that, they would be able to, again, navigate that together. So yeah.
Yeah.
She'll figure it out.
I think that because she's withholding it, she's missing an opportunity for Adam to be able to know what things are actually okay with her and what things aren't. So, because they're going to leave the villa, they'll probably stay together for a bit, and he will have no idea that Paige, it might not appreciate him going out and like talking to girls. So as long as she continues to conceal that and harbor that and allow that to fester until it blows up, which will eventually blow up, and not actually talk about it, he will continue. Actually, this is sort of what happens. He will continue to do what he thinks is okay, and he'll end up looking like the bad guy.
I know. Yep.
Which kind of fucked.
I know. Yeah. So hopefully they navigate that sooner rather than later and figure it out.
Agreed. Okay, so then we have sort of, Adam tells Natalia that he's not interested in like connecting with her romantically. He's really interested in Paige. And then as soon as that conversation is over,
I know,
Davide pulls Natalia and says the same thing. And the poor girl, I was just feeling for her.
Yeah. She's like 2 in a row.
She didn't get anywhere with anyone.
No.
2 in a row.
Yeah.
She handled it beautifully, but
she did. Goodness. Yeah. And then the whole Ekin-Su awkward, do you have a problem with me pineapple pizza conversation happens, which I thought was interesting because like Ekin was like, we like the one with pineapple on it, which by the way, I love pineapple on my pizza. What team are you on? Do you like pineapple or no?
Too. I love a Hawaiian pizza.
Me too. Okay, cool.
Send me to jail. I will die.
I do not care. Yeah, I love pineapple on my pizza. But I love how Ekin was like, we both like the pineapple one. And Davide was like, no, I don't. And Natalia was
and then Ekin changed her tune too.
I know.
Didn't she also like sort of like
backtrack
that statement?
Yeah.
Which Natalia called her out on.
And that's what Ekin didn't like. She was like, oh, so now you're like, and this is what mirroring is. I just talked about mirroring in a post this week. It's so important. When it, anyway, story for another day. But what I thought was really interesting with this whole thing is like Ekin-Su is like, so do you have a problem with me? Which is like a really confrontational question to ask. Like she could have chosen, are we good? I'm sensing like that there might be a vibe and I just want to make sure we're good because I, obviously I want to make you feel welcome. But like of all the questions to ask, it's, do you have a problem with me? To which Natalia was like, no, but if I did, I would tell you. And then Ekin like kind of starts to ask like, are you sure? And that's when Natalia was like, no, but maybe you have a problem with yourself, which I was dying laughing because I was like, that's exactly what this is. This is projection. And Natalia calls it out. Ekin did not like that. And then Ekin's like, what's with the attitude? And Natalia's like, I'm not giving you attitude. You asked me multiple times. I've told you no. And then Ekin's like, I asked you if you liked pizza. And that was really where I was like, oh my God. And I literally paused at that point to take these notes because that was such a circular argument that got nowhere. And Ekin's trying to escape the accountability that she's the one that started this whole like cyclone of emotion. Yeah. What did you think of that interaction? It was spicy.
Well, it was like too heated. It felt performative on Ekin's part. Like it felt like she was ready to, I don't know. What's the opposite of peacocking in like a negative way? She was trying to sort of like posture that she's like not one to fuck with. Yeah. Right. And it's sort of like, in a way, she's trying to like piss on Davide, but it's like, babe, you don't need to do that. And when you do, again, like you said, skirting this responsibility that she started that whole confrontation, whatever, maybe you notice a little bit of an attitude, then go pull that person later and be like, listen, I sort of caught an edge. Just wanted to check in.
Yeah.
What's up?
Could have been handled in so many other healthy ways, and that is not what happened.
And again, like, I think that's why I feel like it's performative. Like, I think Ekin thrives off of an opportunity to be seen as a winner of a confrontation. I mean, she did that in every confrontation with Davide. Like, she's like the last word type of gal. I thought that it was really, I appreciated that they were trying to like relieve the tension by creating like a a harmless like pancake battle in the morning. Like I thought that was sort of a good way to get out of that situation. But again, like it's very much for Ekin to continue to like come out on top, which it's like, I think I just have an aversion to people like this where I'm just like, you need this so bad.
I know. Yeah.
And I'm sad
I don't really want to keep giving it to you because it's not genuine on my part. Like, it becomes a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah, so
people like Ekin are a lot of work.
They are. It's a full-time, it's an overtime job. It really is.
It's an overtime job.
So anyway, pancake competition goes down. Ekin wins, although Gemma says that Natalia's pancakes were definitely better. So I 100% am of the opinion that Davide tasted them so many times as a means to purposefully choose Ekin because he knows that he can't be honest that Natalia's are better because all hell would break loose with Ekin. So yeah, that was that. And they like really went all out. And I thought what Ian Sterling said was so poignant. He's like, this is what happens when you take social media away from a generation that lives on their phones and this is how they entertain themselves. I was like, spot fucking on.
They get weird.
It's true. Things get interesting.
They get really fucking weird.
If quarantine has taught us anything.
Oh my God, it's that we all need hobbies.
Yes, we all need hobbies outside of social media. That's when I started Pay My Numbers.
God. Yes, that's right.
I know.
Oh my God, such a vibe.
I mean, I need to get back to it.
I tried learning chess for a little while.
That's too much for me. I'll watch Queen's Gambit, bitch. Girl, I know. But learning it, hell no.
It's sort of, there was a combination of, I'd watched Queen's Gambit and I was like inspired.
Yes.
And then I went on a date with someone. And we were hanging out at his apartment and he had this like beautiful like glass chess board. And he was like, do you want to play? And I was like, full transparency, no idea.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
One of them moves in L shape.
Like, I'll teach.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I'll teach you how they move and we could just like practice and play. And I was like, this is so much fun, trying to figure that out. And then I was like, I got home, I bought like a travel set from Amazon. I have it. It's part of my decor right now.
It just sits there now.
It just sits there. I was like online. I was playing like free online chess games against like computers, like just trying to keep the skills up. Did not go well.
Yeah.
Didn't go well. I left it. I dropped it. I went back to my phone and we called it a day.
Done.
God, we need hobbies. Okay. There's nothing else eventful that happened from the end of this week. Basically, Danica chooses Jamie, which I'm really excited about that to see how they develop over the next week. And then Deji and Lacey go home. Natalia and Reese both go home.
Yeah. The end.
Tear.
Done.
The end.
So green flag, red flag of the week, bitch. God. Let's go.
Okay. What's your red flag?
My red flag of the week is that argument with Ekin-Su and Natalia. Like, if anyone is trying to learn more about, like, spawning covert narcissistic, like, argument cycles, go watch that 10 times, because that's basically what it is, right? It's very covert narky. I think it's a great educational tool to be able to watch that. And I feel the need to say this because I feel like I said this last week, but I'm going to say it again. I am not of the mindset that narcissistic people are doomed to fail in life. I think that if they would seek help, they absolutely would grow. So I just want to say that because I am not over here thinking that Ekin deserves to burn in hell. Not in the slightest. I want that girl to seek help so badly because really all of these things that are going on are deep trauma, and so I feel for her. But at the same time, we need to understand that trauma is not a justification for abusive tactics either. So, just want to point that out, and I wanted to say that because I think that it's hard. I think a lot of people who've been through narcissistic relationships, like, really want to spout poisonous venom, and I think we need to find a happy middle ground where it's like, yes, it's not okay, and they deserve to heal if they seek it out, and that's the annoying part. It's a big if.
I'm curious how much Davide likes that competitive, fiery venom from Ekin when it's directed in other areas away from him.
Agreed.
Like, I wonder if he's like into that.
Yeah, I think he is a little, because he chimed in during this argument with Natalia. He was like, yeah, I feel like you have a problem with Ekin too. And I was like, Davide, stay out of this, because like you're not helping. Yeah, I agree. I think he is. I think he likes being the center of attention. For sure.
Oh, he was loving the pancake challenge.
Yeah.
His blindfold was on and he had to force a smile down.
Yeah. It was cute. He loved it. But
he loves to be the center of attention.
Yeah, that's my red flag of the week.
My red flag is, I'm going to give it to Paige for the lack of vulnerability and transparency. I think that it is, and here's why. When Adam comes back and he says all of the right things, and I'm choosing to believe him in, how he handled that whole situation. I think Paige missed an opportunity to like be a little bit vulnerable and transparent and just take the risk and say, I'm really glad to hear that. Everything that you just said, I actually feel really similarly. I'm glad to know that we're on the same page, and let's see where we move next.
Yeah.
And I think when you don't take those opportunities, especially when someone else is starting
opening the door,
is modeling vulnerability, exactly, and we're like, no, too soon. It comes from this fucking prehistoric belief that women are like just forever supposed to be chased by their male partners, and like, I don't want to give away too much. Fuck it and find out, like be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Let someone know how you feel, even if you are the one initiating it. And if they're like, whoa, that was way too much, or your vulnerability or your openness about how you feel about me is just so unattractive, please let them go.
For real. Yeah. I think a great way to remember this is you will never be too much or overshare for the right person. Like, seriously, it's like you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. If they're into you, if they want to get to know you, they are going to hold that space. They are going to want to know what your inner world is like so that they can be the best partner for you, right? Like, so I hope that helps inspire, because Brie is 100% right. Fucking go for it.
Yeah, it's a subtle like you can really lose people that way, because that's what happens when people turn around and they're like, I didn't know how you felt about me.
I know,
because you actually haven't said it.
Yeah.
So, okay, green flag. Love to end on a positive
green
note.
flag. I'm gonna say Gemma reminding Paige in that same convo to rest in what she has. I feel like that's something that a lot of women forget when our own fears and insecurities pop up, and it really is a bad bitch confidence move to just be like, I know my worth, I know what we have, and if that's still not good enough for him, I will let him go. Yeah, I love that. Green flag.
Yeah, I thought that was a good friend moment. I wish Paige was able to believe it more, but it's not. Yeah, she couldn't receive it, and it's not necessarily her. When we do this, where we're like, "Oh, thanks, girl, that's nice," but it's like you don't actually really believe anything this person just said. It's not that they won't ever feel that way. They're not in that place of understanding that for themselves at that particular moment, because you literally just heard her say really horrible shit about herself. That hopefully they sit with that and hear that in the future. Yeah. Okay, my green flag is honestly on a similar topic or the same sort of situation. I want to give it to Adam, because I think that the way that Adam approached dating another person while he's already facilitating a connection with someone was very translatable to our real life dating experiences. I think that it is very appropriate to be focused on building a connection with someone. And if at that point you continue to check back in with each other to make sure that the expectations are what you both agree that they are. And in this case, we're not exclusive at this time. We're enjoying our company with one another, but we are open to connecting and talking to other people, whether that's on a reality dating show or it is out in the real world on internet dates, meeting people in real life, whatever the case is. And I think that his ability to be open-minded in that space and really like give those conversations a fair shot, you know, he came back, he was like, and then he was honest and he was transparent. And he was like, I found myself thinking about you and I wanted to be here. And so I'm all set. And that was just enough, right? It wasn't so much that it felt like he was feeding her bullshit.
No.
And then on the other side of it, him talking to Natalia. Now, I think that he could have spared her feelings a little bit less by talking about his preferred connection with Paige just a little bit less. Not that it's not valid. I just don't think it's so important for this person to
Need to know.
It could have just sufficed. Exactly. Need to know information. You know, when we were with each other, I feel... I appreciate that he did this. He was like, I really like talking to you. You're a really great person. I don't feel the same. I don't feel enough to be able to be like, okay, let's really give it a go. And for me to risk what I've got going on. And it could have just been that. But nevertheless, I think he handled it like a total gentleman. I like that he told Natalia before he told Paige. Beautiful green flags all around, which I cannot believe I'm saying about Adam at this stage of my knowing
Golf
of him.
Claps for Adam. Good job.
Good job.
Okay.
That's it
for this week, y'all. Yeah.
I want people to reach out to us and let us know if there's specifically a dating reality television show that you're really hyped up about that you would love to hear us cover.
Yeah.
Because we're about to come to the end of our Love Island experience. We know about The Bachelorette. Listen, it's already begun. We're having our own personal thoughts and feelings about it. So if there's anything else that you feel strongly about, because to cover The Bachelorette at this stage is like...
Too far gone.
It's not.
Yeah. So let us know, because we're here for it, and we want to know what you want on the show next season. Other than that, if you like this episode, screenshot it, share it to the gram, give us a tag at Ditch the Script Pod, and let us know you're listening. We love to see it. Also, if you want to ask your questions or if you want to apply for a free 30-minute mini session with both Brie and myself, head to our website, ditchthescriptpod.com, and do that. Submit your question or apply to be on the show. Other than that, give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at Ditch the Script Pod. And that's it, y'all. We love you. The end. See you next week.
Bye.